So back in February, I made my predictions for the Mario Kart Deluxe Booster Course Pass, and you all hated it. Y'all didn't shy away from your opinions. Okay, I get it. So I had you guys vote for your picks for the Mario Kart Deluxe Booster Course Pass. Y'all did a great job voting. Let's get straight into the countdown. What did you guys vote for? There are the three categories: total votes, cup votes, and game votes. And let's get started with the first track on our list from the TurnUp Cup Super Nintendo Mario Circuit 1. And believe it or not, this will be the only Super Nintendo track on this entire list, which is insane. But regardless, here's what we have. This track had garnered 17 votes out of the 30 people that have voted, which makes it tied for 28th out of all the tracks that have been voted. Out of the cup votes, this was the most voted track for the TurnUp Cup with 13 votes. And of course, this was the highest voted Super Nintendo track, taking up 22.4% of those votes. Next up is Calamari Desert from the Nintendo 64. It placed 18th in the total votes, garnering 23 out of the 30 votes. And with 10 votes in the specific cup, the TurnUp Cup, that makes it tied for second place. And this was the most voted Nintendo 64 course. Next up is London Loop from Mario Kart Tour, the first track that we both agree with. I also had this track in my TurnUp Cup. This track tied for second with 28 out of the 30 votes. Only 2 people didn't vote for this track. This track garnered 10 votes, also ties it with Calamari Desert for second most in the TurnUp Cup, and has 9.6% of the Mario Kart Tour votes in total, ties it for second as well. As you guys are about to see, Mario Kart Tour had a pretty strong showing in these votings, but that doesn't mean the other tracks from other games didn't perform well either, because next up is Shy Guy Bazaar from Mario Kart 7. That had 20 of the 30 votes, which ties it for 23rd amongst all Mario Kart tracks, and it had 8 votes for the specific cup, which makes it 4th place, and it is the 3rd most voted Mario Kart 7 track with 15.2%. I also had this track in this wave. I had it in the Propeller Mushroom Cup, not this cup, but still wave 2 nonetheless. Speaking of the Propeller Cup, that is exactly what we're going to move on to next, and let's get on to the first track in this cup. We have GDA Sunset Wilds. I really didn't think this track was going to perform that well, but man, you guys voted for this a lot. 25 of the 30 votes, and this is the most voted track in the Propeller Mushroom Cup with 8 votes. This is also the highest voted Game Boy Advance track, so this track is really performing well. Next up, we have Mushroom Gorge from Mario Kart Wii, tied for 20th in the total votes, 21 out of the 30 votes, also tied for second for the most votes in the Propeller Mushroom Cup with 7, and this is tied for the 4th most voted track in Mario Kart Wii. And next up is another Game Boy Advance track for the Propeller Mushroom Cup, Cheep Cheep Island, which is 33rd in the total votes with 15 out of the 30 votes. It had a strong showing in specifically the Propeller Mushroom Cup, which is tied for 4th with 6 votes, and it is the 3rd most voted Game Boy Advance track, so gotta love it for that reason. Finally, we're going back to Mario Kart Wii. That's funny, 2 Game Boy Advance tracks and 2 Wii tracks in this cup, but we have Toad's Factory here, also tied for 33rd with 15 of the 30 votes. This had 5 votes, which makes it tied for 6th place amongst all the tracks that were voted for this specific cup, and this is the 6th most voted track for Mario Kart Wii. Not bad, Toad's Factory. Now next up is the Rock Cup, and you guys really flamed me for not putting Rock Mountain in the Rock Cup. So did you guys go ahead and do that yourselves? Well, yes, by flying colors. Rock Mountain garnered 26 out of the 30 votes, which makes it tied for 8th of all Mario Kart tracks, and this had 20 of its 26 votes for this specific cup, the Rock Cup, which is far and away the most votes for not only this cup, but for any specific cup, which is insane, and that makes it the most voted Mario Kart 7 track with 19.7% of the votes. Coming in second for the Rock Cup with a respectable 12 votes for this specific cup is Vancouver Velocity from Mario Kart Tour. Respect to you guys, because I also had this in my Rock Cup votes. This track had 27 of the 30 votes, which ties it for 6th place, and it is tied for the 5th most votes in Mario Kart Tour tracks. Following that is Luigi's Mansion from Mario Kart DS, a really fun track. Glad it's here in the Rock Cup. It had 22 of the 30 votes, so solo 19th, and it had 9 votes in this specific cup alone, which is a beautiful showing. I really wasn't expecting that. The 3rd most votes in this cup alone, and it is the 3rd highest voted Mario Kart DS track. Gotta love it. And last but certainly not least is Dino Dino Jungle. Y'all definitely expressed how you wanted this track to be in my original predictions, and y'all made it happen. It is 4th place in the Rock Cup, tied for 5th technically for the amount of cup votes with only 4, but still a strong showing. 20 of the 30 votes in total that this track had in your guys' votes, and it was also tied for 2nd place amongst Mario Kart Double Dash tracks. Now next up is the Power Moon Cup. You guys might be surprised on what the first track is, but overall you guys probably won't be surprised with this cup, and you'll see just why. But first, let me show you Merry Mountain from Mario Kart Tour. This is the most voted track out of any Mario Kart track in this entire voting series. 29 of the 30 votes, only one person didn't vote for this track. No other track can have that distinction. This also has the most votes in the Power Moon Cup with 15, so it is alone on top with that. In this cup, it has the most votes in Mario Kart Tour, or takes the biggest chunk with 9.9%, nearly 10% of all Mario Kart Tour votes were this track. But the next track is the one you guys all wanted. You weren't disappointed in yourselves. You got New York Minute from Mario Kart Tour in the Moon Cup with 27 of the 30 total votes, ties it for 6th place, and alone in 2nd place for the most votes in this cup with 11. Not bad at all. And of course, it is tied for 5th with the most votes in Mario Kart Tour tracks, 9.2%. Gotta love it. New York Minute here, as it maybe rightfully deserves, and my picks were probably wrong. But that is okay, because we got another banger here in the Moon Cup. Waluigi Pinball from Mario Kart DS. And yes, I also had Waluigi Pinball and Merry Mountain in this Moon Cup in my own predictions as well. Fun fact about Waluigi Pinball, this is the only track with 28 of the 30 votes with more than 27 votes. This is the only track that is not from Mario Kart Tour that has this many votes. Every other track that is not Mario Kart Tour related has either 27 or less votes, which is insane. So it is tied for 2nd place amongst all Mario Kart tracks with 28 of the 30 votes. It is in 4th place with 5 cup votes, and it is first the most votes amongst Mario Kart DS tracks with nearly 20% of the votes. Now, the last track in the Moon Cup, Moon View Highway. I see what you guys did there. This is a track that I excluded from my booster course pass, but you guys did it and included it in. This is tied for 40th amongst all Mario Kart tracks. Now, there can only be 40 unique tracks that can make the booster course pass the final cut, and some tracks, even though they're in the top 40 because they were low positions on most of the cups, they didn't necessarily get the chance to make it in the final cup. But Moonview Highway had a strong showing on this specific cup, and that's why it was able to make the cut with 4 votes, ties it for 5th place of all Moon Cup tracks, and it is 7th place amongst Mario Kart Wii tracks. It is now time to start wave for the Fruit Cup. I wish it was called the Berry Cup. I think that's a much better name. But anyways, the first track we have is Wii Koopa Cape. Now, this one kind of shocked me a little bit. I wasn't expecting this one to do as well as it did, but look, it got tied for 1st place for the amount of votes in the Fruit Cup. I almost said Berry Cup again. That's insane. But this one had 25 of the 30 total votes, which ties it for 12th place, and it is 2nd place amongst Mario Kart Wii tracks. So great showing on Koopa Cape. Wasn't expecting this at all. But next up for the Fruit Cup is a really fun track, also tied for 1st place with 8 votes in this specific cup, is Berlin Byways. Now, between my announcement video of the voting period and this release, Berlin Byways 1 came out, and it is awesome. I love that track, and I can't believe that we got a Berlin Byways 1 in between the voting release and, of course, the results. So we are officially putting Berlin Byways 1, even though the entire voting period showed Berlin Byways 2. I'm throwing in Berlin Byways 1 because that is what I would have put down if this track had existed before. This track had 26 of the 30 votes, ties it for 8th place, and is tied for 7th amongst Mario Kart Tour tracks. Next up in the Fruit Cup, the one track that I also share with you guys in the Fruit Cup, DS Delfino Square, tied for 28th amongst Mario Kart tracks with 17 of the 30 votes. It is tied for 4th amongst most voted tracks in the Fruit Cup with 4 votes, and it is the 4th most voted Mario Kart DS track. Well done, Delfino Square. Now, rounding off the Fruit Cup, you guys picked the one N64 track that has yet to get a remake of any kind, Wario Stadium. Now, in my own prediction video from a few months ago, you guys said in the comments, some of you, that there's already a Wario Stadium in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but that is DS Wario Stadium. This is Nintendo 64 Wario Stadium, the original Wario Stadium. This one is a much longer and a much different track than that, so you guys voted it in. This one is eligible for voting. It was 23rd for votes with 20 out of the 30 people voting for this track, tied for 4th place in cup votes with 4, and it is the 2nd most voted Nintendo 64 track. Now, next in wave 4, y'all are going to be really happy with this first track because it is the Boomerang Cup, and we are starting with Sydney Sprint. Yes, another track that y'all were a little bit upset with me for not putting here in the Boomerang Cup, but it is here based on your guys' votes. It had by and far away the most votes in this specific cup. The Boomerang Cup with 13 votes. It is tied for 8th place with 26 of the total votes, and it is the 7th most voted Mario Kart Tour track. So there it is, Sydney Sprint here in the Boomerang Cup as you guys voted. Now, next is Daisy Cruiser. This is a really fun track. Again, another one from Mario Kart Double Dash. I always love these Double Dash tracks. It is the most voted Mario Kart Double Dash, taking 14.6% of the votes. It is the 2nd most voted track in this specific cup with 7, and it is tied for 20th with 21 of the 30 votes. So that is not a bad performance. We gotta love Daisy Cruiser for a great showing here. And next up is another Mario Kart Tour Tour track, Los Angeles Laps, and I also had this in my Boomerang Flower Cup. This one is tied for second. 28 of you guys out of the 30 voted for this track to be in here. 5 of those votes were for this Boomerang Flower Cup, which makes it third place. Not bad at all. And of course, with 20 of the 30 votes, that makes it tied for second place amongst Mario Kart Tour track votes. And lastly, we got GBA Rainbow Road. Again, another track I had in the Boomerang Cup, and this is the first Rainbow Road we've seen. Trust me, it won't be the last one. It got 4 votes for the Boomerang Cup, which is tied for 4th place with a lot of other tracks, might I add. It is the 4th most voted Mario Kart Super Circuit track, and it garnered 14 out of the 30 votes. Just under half of you guys voted for this track. That makes it tied for 35th, still inside that top 40, so you gotta love it. Starting wave 5, we have the Feather Cup, and I was really interested to see what you guys voted for wave 5 because honestly, I had no idea what you guys were thinking, and you guys made some great picks. So let's start with the first one, which is Singapore Speedway. Not a bad Mario Kart Tour track. Hoping this one comes back pretty soon. We have 28 of you guys that voted for Singapore Speedway, which makes it tied for second place. Again, this is alone on top with 7 votes for the Feather Cup, and it is tied, of course, for second amongst Mario Kart Tour tracks. Singapore Speedway, you guys tend to like this one a lot, and like I said, yeah, it's a really good track, so glad it's on here for the Feather Cup. Next up, though, is DS Airship Fortress. Gotta love that you guys put this one on here. I also had this in my Feather Cup. This one is tied for 12th with 25 of the 30 votes. You guys really like this track. I like it too. A really fun track. Tied for second place for most votes in the Feather Cup with 5, and it is second place amongst Mario Kart DS tracks. We all know that Waluigi Pinball took number 1, but Airship Fortress not that far behind. A really fun track, and glad you guys were able to put this one on here. Now in third is DK Summit from Mario Kart Wii or DK Snowboard Cross based on where you live. This one took 21 of the 30 votes, which ties it for 20th. It is also tied for 4th for most votes in the Feather Cup and tied for 4th for Mario Kart Wii tracks. Not bad, DK Summit. Thought you'd perform a little bit better, but I'm still proud that you were able to make the cut and be here in the Feather Cup. And lastly, we have a track that I love so much and I really felt bad about excluding from my list, but you guys gave it justice. Mushroom City from Mario Kart Double Dash, 20 of the 30 votes, which ties it for 23rd. It is, of course, tied with DK Summit for 4th place amongst tracks that was voted for the Feather Cup, and it is tied for 2nd place amongst Mario Kart Double Dash tracks votes. And the Feather Cup is done. Let's move on to the next cup in wave 5, which is the Cherry Cup. And we're going to start that off with GBA Lakeside Park. This is insane. I was not expecting a Mario Kart Super Circuit track of all games to take first place in a specific cup, but Lakeside Park here did it for the Cherry Cup. This one took 16 of the 30 votes for you guys, and 6 of those 16 votes were for this cup specifically, which helped it get tied for first place amongst tracks that were voted for the Cherry Cup. And this is also the 2nd most voted track of Mario Kart Super Circuit tracks. Gotta love it. Lakeside Park overperforming and overachieving, and we love to see it. Nice job, guys. But of course, tied for first place is another Mario Kart Tour track, Amsterdam Drift, with 24 of the 30 votes, which makes it tied for 15th, and is actually 9th amongst all Mario Kart Tour tracks, which is insane. This track, like I said, is tied for first place, and it came out after I made my prediction video all the way back in February. If I knew this track had existed, I definitely would have made room for it in my predictions, but that's neither here nor there. I'm glad you guys were able to give it the rightful place it deserves. Third for the Cherry Cup, we have Maka Woohoo from Mario Kart 7. I really wish I was able to put this track in my predictions as well, but you guys made it work. Maka Woohoo is in here. 16 of you guys voted for this track. 5 of those 16 votes were for this cup specifically, enough to give it 3rd place and to make it into these rankings, and it is 4th amongst all Mario Kart 7 tracks. Let's go, Maka Woohoo. Please be here in the Booster Course Pass. You guys gave it the justice it deserves, and it is here. Nice work, you guys. And lastly, with a little bit of controversy, and you guys will see when I get to my honorable mentions, but this one is Waluigi Stadium from Mario Kart Double Dash. This one is tied for 35th amongst all Mario Kart tracks, so it still made the top 40. It had 14 of the 30 votes. 3 of those votes were for this track, which tied it for 6th place, and this track is tied for 4th amongst Mario Kart Double Dash tracks. Maybe this track wasn't supposed to be in the Cherry Cup. It just barely squeaked by. There was one other track that maybe deserved it. I was tossing back and forth, but I ultimately went with this track because it had a lot more total votes as opposed to the other track I will show off in the honorable mentions. And now we made it here to wave 6 with the Acorn Cup. What track is going to be first place? Let's start with Maple Treeway from Mario Kart Wii. Did you guys really think this track was going to miss this list? Let's go. 30 of you guys were here voting for this, and 26 of you guys picked Maple Treeway. 9 of those 26 votes were for this cup alone, making it alone on top for the Acorn Cup, and this was the most voted Mario Kart Wii track. Of course, I could not leave this track out. You guys voted for a ton. It just happened to be in one of the much later cups. So for those of you that were worried worried that Maple Treeway wouldn't be here. Well, Maple Treeway is on here, and you guys did a great job. First place here in the Acorn Cup. Next is one of the Bowser Castle tracks that I actually omitted from my list. A really fun Bowser Castle, DS Bowser Castle. 13 of you guys voted for it, which is tied for 40th. Really close to being omitted, but it was still on the edge, and I decided to give it the leverage because 8 of those 13 votes were for this cup alone, the Acorn Cup, which is second by itself. So I decided that that was enough to give it the edge to make the final cut for the Booster Course Pass, and it is 5th place amongst all Mario Kart DS votes. Now, third on this list is the newly announced and or released Mario Kart Tour Track Bangkok Rush, which replaces the Tour Future Track vote category. Now, some of you guys actually voted the Tour Future Track multiple times, as in you're predicting that there will be more than one Mario Kart Tour Track to be coming out in the future after Amsterdam Drift. This is the first one, but some of you guys voted for it more than once. So I decided to take each vote that was voted more than once and include it as their own separate track. So say one person voted for Tour Future Track twice, the first vote would be Tour Future Track, and the next one I categorized as Tour Future Track 2. So Bangkok Rush only took the votes of Tour Future Track 1. And just those first Future Track votes, there were 20 of you guys that voted for at least one Future Track in the Mario Kart Tour franchise to appear. And then the other votes that were Tour Future Track 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I counted them as their own separate track. But Bangkok Rush here, replacing the first Tour Future Track votes, 6 of those original Tour Future Track votes were for this Acorn Cup, which ties it for 3rd place. Not bad at all. So with all that explanation out of the way, we'll get to the last track here in the Acorn Cup. We have Bowser's Castle from the 3DS, Mario Kart 7, 13 of the 30 votes, again tied for 40th, barely edging its way here and really only making the cup because of its performance on the Acorn Cup alone. 6 out of the 13 votes were for this track, ties it for 3rd, and is the 6th most voted Mario Kart 7 track. Now lastly, we have the Spiny Cup for Wave 6, and I feel like some of you will be disappointed, but some of you will be happy. There's really no surprises here. Let's get to these tracks. First up is Wii Rainbow Road, taking a convincing win for the most votes in this cup alone with 19 votes, and it only had 24 votes in total, so only 5 votes were not for this cup, but the rest of the 19 were for the specific cup. Far and away the most votes for the Spiny Cup. It has tied for 15th for most votes in general, but a lot of you guys wanted to see Rainbow Road from Mario Kart Wii in this cup, and it deserves it. It is a great track, and it is here as the most voted track in the Spiny Cup. Also 3rd amongst all Mario Kart Wii votes. And not too far behind is Mario Kart 7's Rainbow Road with 14 votes specific to this cup, but it had 24 of the 30 votes, again ties for 15th, the tied for the most votes with Mario Kart Wii's Rainbow Road, but it had 14 of those votes be specific to the Spiny Shell Cup as opposed to Wii Rainbow Road's 19 votes. It is also the 2nd most voted Mario Kart 7 track with 18.2% of the votes. 3rd is of course another Rainbow Road track. We have Mario Kart Double Dash's Rainbow Road. This is a track that would not have been on this list probably if it did not gain 7 votes, which ties it for 3rd place in the Spiny Cup. It is tied for 4th amongst the Mario Kart Double Dash tracks, and it only had 14 of the 30 votes. But like I said, because it has 7 votes, which is a really strong number for the Spiny Cup, it got its place on this list. And lastly, this is a track I nearly took off. I actually replaced it with another track at the last minute, but Rainbow Road from Mario Kart DS, because it is tied with Mario Kart Double Dash's Rainbow Road with 7 votes specific to this cup, which ties it for 3rd place by a long shot. I felt like it deserved to be here, even though it only has 11 votes out of the 30 in general, which is 46th amongst Mario Kart tracks, well below the 40 mark to make the threshold. It is the 6th most voted Mario Kart DS track, but this track I felt deserved it just because it had 7 votes specific to this cup, which is a lot of votes, mind you. Anyways, I think it's time to move on to our honorable mentionings and explain why those tracks didn't make the list. The first track I want to talk about is Koopa Troopa Beach from Mario Kart 64. While it did tie for 30th with 16 of the 30 votes, it did not perform well cup to cup. Its highest performance was in Wave 2 with the TurnUp Cup and the Propeller Cup. It had 4 votes in each of those cups. Because other tracks performed much better than it, it just wasn't enough to crack the list and make the cut, even though it is in the top 40 Mario Kart voted tracks. Next is a track that would have been in the Cherry Cup. This is Vanilla Lake 2 from Super Mario Kart. I really wanted to put this track in the game because it had 4 votes, which tied it for 4th. It had 1 more vote than Waluigi Stadium did for this cup, but this track didn't have many other votes outside of it. It only had 9 votes out of the 30 in total, and therefore it was ranked 54th amongst all Mario Kart tracks, and I felt like that was too low of a number to include it into this list because there were other tracks that people just wanted to see in general, and I felt because Waluigi Stadium had 14 votes, which is substantially more than 9, I felt Waluigi Stadium, even though it got 1 less vote for this specific cup, it deserved this spot because more people wanted to see that track overall than Vanilla Lake 2. So I'm sorry, Super Nintendo. Next is Wario Shipyard from Mario Kart 7. So this track only had 14 out of 30 votes, so it was tied for 35th. It squeaked in the top 40, but its best performance was in the Acorn Cup with only 4 votes. And again, like I mentioned, there were just other tracks that had many more votes than that, and it just did not perform well in any other cup to make it worth putting in here. So I'm sorry for Wario Shipyard fans, but this track just barely missed out on the final cut. And lastly, a track that I had in the Spiny Cup all the way until the end was Wario Coliseum. The only reason I switched it was because DS Rainbow Road had 7 total votes for that cup, while Wario Coliseum only had 4, a lot less. And Wario Coliseum had more votes in total, though. It had 14 out of 30 as opposed to DS Rainbow Road's 11 of 30. So Wario's Coliseum was so close to getting in, and it performed well in other cups too, but it was never a top 4 or top 3 track. It had the unfortunate situation just like Koopa Troopa Beach and Wario Shipyard did, and I'm so sad that I had to leave this track off, but I think it was for the best. So thank you guys so much for watching. Here is a side-by-side comparison of all the votes between my picks all the way back in February and your votes as of just now that I made this video for, and these are exciting. Which one of us do you think will get the picks more correct? Will it be my votes or will it be your votes? Are you guys happy with what the community voted for? Comment down below which tracks you guys still think should have made the list. But anyways, thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I'm kind of surprised at how similar our lists are. We have a couple tracks that are in the exact same cups or in the same wave, which is really cool to hear. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys next time. Stay all pro. I'm out of here.